He asked the human marine her kill count. She tilted her head. This year, or just this planet? The survey ship Dawn Horizon moved slowly through the cold space around the planet Kale-9. Its engines made a low hum after the fight with pirate drones 2 days earlier. Smoke still came from one side of the ship, but the crew kept working. Captain Daniel Hayes stood on the bridge and looked at the big view screen. The planet below was covered in thick white ice. Blue cracks ran across the surface like broken glass. "Prepare the landing team," Daniel said into the comm. "We need a base on the ground before the next storm hits." In the hangar bay, soldiers checked their gear. Among them stood Private First Class Lauren Brooks. She was not very tall, but her armor made her look strong. Her rifle hung heavy on her back. Lauren came from the Terran Expeditionary Force. Humans did not join the coalition often, but when they did, people noticed. She said little and moved with calm steps. The shuttle left the ship and flew down through thick clouds. Wind pushed against the small craft. Inside, the team sat quietly. Lauren cleaned her weapon one more time. She liked things clean and ready. They landed on a wide ice shelf. Snow blew around them in sharp gusts. A tall figure waited near the landing lights. It was Korath, the Virith liaison officer. His body shone with soft iridescent scales that changed color in the light. Korath carried only a small data pad. No. Korath carried only a small data pad. No weapon. "Welcome to Kale-9, Korath said. His voice came smooth through the translator. "The Coalition thanks you for your help." Daniel stepped forward and shook one of Korath's long fingers. "We're glad to assist. Let's get the shelter up fast. And this cold bites." The team worked quickly. They set up a round prefab shelter made of strong metal panels. Inside, heaters turned on and warm air filled the space. The group sat around a metal table. Lights glowed yellow overhead. Someone passed out hot drinks in metal cups. Lauren took one and held it in both hands. Korath sat with them. He opened his data pad and looked at the faces one by one. He asked normal questions first. How long would the base stay active? What supplies did they need? Then he turned his head toward Lauren. "Your kind has a name in many systems," Korath said. "Humans fight well. Your marine units have high success rates." Lauren looked up from her cup. She did not smile or frown. She just listened. Korath continued. "In our records, we keep exact numbers. It helps us understand. May I ask you a question, Private Brooks?" Lauren gave a small nod. "How many combatants have you personally removed from the field during your service?" Korath asked. His voice stayed even, like he was asking about the weather. The room became very quiet. The other Marines looked at their cups or the wall. Daniel opened his mouth to speak, but Lauren answered first. She tilted her head just a little to one side. Her eyes met Korath's without blinking. "This year?" she said. "Or just this planet?" Korath's scales turned a pale shade of green. Lauren took another sip of her drink. Lauren took another sip of her drink. Steam rose from the cup and touched her face. Korath finally spoke. "I did not expect that reply." Lauren set the cup down. "It's a fair question. I gave a fair answer." Daniel cleared his throat. "Maybe we should talk about tomorrow's sensor sweep instead," he said. "We need to map the ice tunnels before the big storm." Korath looked away from Lauren. He tapped his data pad. "Yes, of course, the sweep." But his large eyes kept moving back to the small human Marine. She sat straight in her chair. Her hands rested on the table. Nothing about her looked angry or proud. She looked like someone who had heard that question many times before. After the meeting ended, the team went to their bunks. Lauren stayed behind to check the perimeter sensors, and she walked around the shelter in the dark. Snow crunched under her boots. The sky above was black and full of stars. Kale-9 felt empty and cold. Korath stepped out of the shelter. His long coat moved in the wind. He came close but kept a respectful distance. "Private Brooks," he said softly. Lauren turned. "Yes?" "I did not mean to cause discomfort," Korath said. "My people value precision. We record everything. I thought the number would be small. Or 0. Many species avoid direct combat." Lauren looked out at the frozen plain. "Numbers are just numbers," she said. "They don't tell the whole story." "But they tell part of it," Korath replied. Lauren nodded once. "True." She started walking back toward the shelter door. Korath followed a few steps behind. "May I ask one more thing?" he said. Lauren stopped. "Go ahead." "How do you sleep after such numbers?" Lauren thought for a moment. The wind pulled at her hood. "I sleep fine," she said, "because the ones I stopped don't get to hurt anyone else." Korath stood still. His scales slowly returned to their normal soft blue. "I see," he said. Lauren opened the door. Warm light spilled out onto the ice. She stepped inside without looking back. Korath remained outside a little longer. He looked up at the stars, then down at the snow where Lauren's footprints led back to the shelter. For the first time, the Vireth officer felt something new. With not fear exactly, not respect exactly, something in between. Inside the shelter, Lauren took off her coat and sat on her bunk. She pulled a small photo from her pocket. It showed a group of Marines laughing together. She looked at it for a long moment. Then she put it away and lay down. Outside, the wind kept blowing. The ice cracked in the distance. KL-9 waited, cold and silent, for whatever came next. The next day would bring trouble, but for now, the shelter held warmth. And then the team rested. Lauren closed her eyes. Her breathing became slow and even. In the quiet dark, she dreamed of nothing at all. He asked the human Marine her kill count. She tilted her head. This year or just this planet? 3 days passed on KL-9. The ice stayed hard and cold. The team worked long hours to set up more sensors and dig small tunnels for cover. Everyone felt the planet watching them. The wind never stopped. It carried a low, strange sound sometimes. A rifle in her hands. Her boots left deep rifle in her hands. Her boots left deep tracks in the snow. She liked the quiet. It gave her time to think. Inside the shelter, Korath stayed busy with his data pad. He sent reports to the coalition ship above. He watched the humans move. They laughed sometimes. They told short stories. And they cleaned weapons and shared food. The Vireth did not do these things the same way. Korath found it strange but interesting. On the 4th morning, Daniel Hayes called a meeting. The team gathered around the table. Hot drinks steamed in cups. The captain pointed to a map on the wall screen. "We need better readings from the deep ice," Daniel said. "There are tunnels down there. Old ones. Maybe natural. Maybe not. We take a small group. Lauren, you lead security. Korath, they stayed ready." Behind her came Korath with a rifle. The group left at first light. 6 people total. Lauren walked in front. Her rifle stayed ready. Behind her came Korath with his tall scanner box, then 2 human Marines, a Vireth tech, and Daniel. They moved across the flat ice toward a wide crack. The crack looked black and deep. They tied ropes and lowered themselves down. The walls were smooth ice at first, then rock appeared. The air grew colder. Their breath made white clouds. At the bottom they found a wide tunnel. It stretched far in both directions. The floor was flat stone covered with thin frost. Strange marks ran along the walls. Not natural scratches. Something made them long ago. Korath set up his scanner. Lights blinked green. "Stable structure," he said. "No immediate danger." Lauren did not relax. She kept her eyes on the dark parts of the tunnel. They walked deeper. The scanner beeped now and then. It found metal traces. Old metal, Very old. Then the ground shook, just a little. Everyone stopped. "What was that?" one Marine asked. Korath checked his box. "Movement below us. Large. Many." Before anyone could answer, the tunnel wall exploded. Ice and rock flew. From the hole came the first creature. It looked like a bear made of armor. Thick plates covered its body. Spikes stuck out from its back. Its mouth opened wide. Acid dripped from long teeth. The acid hit the floor and smoked. More came. 8, then 10. They moved fast for their size. Claws scraped stone. Growls filled the tunnel. The Vireth tech screamed and dropped his tools. He turned to run back the way they came. Daniel grabbed his arm. "Hold position!" Korath froze. His training told him to fall back. Call for help from orbit. Wait for support. That was the Vireth way. Safe. Clean. No blood. But the creatures did not wait. Lauren moved first. She dropped to one knee. Her rifle came up smooth and fast. She squeezed the trigger. Short bursts. 3 shots. The first creature's front leg shattered. It fell forward. Acid sprayed but missed her. She shifted aim. Another burst. The second creature's head snapped back. It dropped hard. She did not shout. She did not panic. She just worked. The other humans opened fire, too. Their rifles cracked loud in the tunnel. Bullets hit plates and sparked. Some broke through. Creatures roared and charged. Korath stood still. His large eyes watched Lauren, and turned and fired into its side. It fell, turned, and fired into its side. It fell. One beast jumped at Daniel. He fired but missed. The claws came close. Lauren was there in a second. She slammed her rifle butt into the creature's eye. It reared back. She fired point blank into its open mouth. The shot echoed. The beast collapsed in a heap. Acid splashed near Korath's feet. He jumped back. His scales turned bright yellow with fear. Lauren kept going. She moved between her team and the creatures. When her rifle clicked empty again, she pulled her sidearm. Pop, pop, pop. Each shot found a weak spot. Eyes, joints, soft parts under the armor. A big one broke through the line. It charged straight at the group. Lauren stepped in front. She dropped her pistol. She pulled the combat knife from her belt. The blade was long and black, and she waited. The creature opened its mouth wide. At the last second, she slid under its charge. On her back, she drove the knife up into its throat. Hot blood poured out. The beast made a wet sound and fell on top of her. She pushed it off with her boots. She stood up. Blood and acid dripped from her armor. She wiped her visor with one hand. Then she picked up her pistol again. The last creature tried to run. Lauren aimed. One shot. It dropped. Silence came back. Then only heavy breathing and the drip of acid on stone. Lauren keyed her comm. "Threat neutralized. 14 hostiles. We're coming back." She looked around. One Marine had a cut on his arm. Daniel helped him stand. The Vireth tech sat on the ground, shaking. Korath still held his scanner box like it could protect him. Lauren walked over to the bodies. She checked each one, made sure they were dead. Then she started back toward the rope. Korath followed slowly. He looked at the dead creatures, and then at Lauren. Her armor was covered in black blood and green acid burns. She walked like nothing happened. 14, Korath said quietly. In under 4 minutes. Lauren did not turn. They were bunched up, easy grouping. Korath stopped walking. He stared at her back. "How do you do that?" he asked. No fear, no pause. Lauren reached the rope. She tied it around her waist. "Fear comes later," she said. "Right now the job is to stay alive. And keep others alive." She started climbing. The others followed. Korath stayed at the bottom a moment longer. He looked at the tunnel full of dead beasts, then up at the small figure climbing away from him. He felt something tight in his chest. Not fear this time. Something bigger, something like understanding. Above, on the ice surface, Lauren pulled herself out of the crack. Snow blew around her. She stood and waited for the others. When Korath came up last, he looked different. His scales were calm blue again, but his eyes stayed on Lauren. She did not notice. She was already checking her rifle for damage, cleaning the acid off the barrel with a cloth. The wind blew harder. The sky grew darker. More trouble waited somewhere under the ice. But for now, the team walked back to the shelter. Lauren in front, quiet, steady, ready for whatever came next. Like he asked the human marine her kill count. She tilted her head. This year, or just this planet? The team returned to the shelter after the fight in the tunnel. No one spoke much on the walk back. The wind pushed snow against their faces. Lauren walked ahead as always. Her armor was black with dried blood and green acid marks. She carried her rifle low but ready. Inside the shelter, the heaters ran hot. Steam rose from wet coats. Daniel helped the injured Marine sit down. A medic came quickly with bandages. The Virith tech still looked pale. He sat in a corner and stared at nothing. Korath stood near the door. He watched Lauren. She took off her helmet and set it on a table. Her short brown hair stuck to her forehead with sweat. She did not look tired. She looked focused. Lauren went to the small workbench in the corner. She laid out her rifle parts one by one. Bolt, barrel, magazine. Everything in neat rows. She picked up a cleaning rod and started to work. I'm a few feet away. Private Brooks, he a few feet away. Private Brooks, he said. Lauren kept cleaning. She did not look up right away. I watched the recording from my drone, Korath continued. I reviewed it 3 times. Lauren paused. She set the brush down. Korath's voice stayed low. Your earlier answer. When I asked about your kill count. Was it literal? Lauren turned her head just enough to meet his eyes. Yeah, she said. It was. Korath's scales shifted to a deeper blue. He took one step closer. May I know the numbers? He asked. Please. Lauren looked at the rifle parts for a moment. Then she leaned back against the workbench. This calendar year, she said, 187 confirmed. Korath did not move. His large eyes blinked once. Just this planet, Lauren went on. 29 so far, including the 14 today. The shelter felt smaller. The other humans heard but pretended not to. Daniel looked over from the medic station. He said nothing. Korath's frills moved slightly. And how long have you served? 4 years and 9 months. Korath stood very still. He did the math in his head. His people were good with numbers. That is a high rate, he said finally. Lauren gave a small shrug. It depends on where you go. Korath looked down at the floor, and then back at her. Your species classifies such figures as routine? Lauren thought about the question. She wiped her hands on a cloth. Routine keeps us alive, she said. You plan, you train, you act, you count what you have to, then you move on. Korath nodded slowly. My people do not count in that way. We avoid the need. Our conflicts end before the first weapon fires. Simulations, agreements, data. Lauren picked up the boar brush again. That sounds nice. It is, Korath said. But today was not simulation. Lauren started cleaning the barrel again. No, it wasn't. Korath watched her hands move, steady, sure. Does it ever bother you? He asked. The numbers. Lauren stopped. She looked straight at him. Some nights, she said. Yeah, it does. Korath waited. But then I remember the faces of the people who didn't make it home because someone didn't stop the threat, she continued. And the numbers feel smaller. Korath's scales paled a little, and he had never heard an answer like that. Lauren finished the barrel. She started on the receiver. I don't enjoy it, she said. I don't hate it either. It's the job. Someone has to do it. Korath looked around the shelter. The humans talked quietly now. They ate rations. They checked gear, normal things, like nothing big had happened. Your team trusts you, Korath said. They have to, Lauren replied. Trust is what keeps us breathing. Korath thought about his own team. And the Virith followed orders because the math said it was safe, not because of trust in one person. He looked back at Lauren. "You ran toward the danger today, not away." Lauren set the rifle down. She stood up straight. "That's what Marines do," she said. Korath tilted his head. "Even when the odds are bad?" "Especially then." A short silence followed. Korath spoke again. "I think I understand a little now." Lauren gave him a small nod. "Good." She turned back to her gear. She started putting the rifle together. Click, click, click. Every piece fit perfectly. Korath stayed a moment longer. Then he walked to the other side of the shelter. He sat at a console and opened his data pad, but he did not type right away. He watched Lauren from across the room. She finished the rifle. She checked the sights. She loaded a fresh magazine. Then she sat down to eat a ration bar. She chewed slowly. No rush. Later that night, most of the team slept, and the lights dimmed to blue. Soft hum from the heaters. Lauren sat on her bunk. She pulled a small notebook from her pocket. It was worn at the edges. She opened it. Inside were short lines of writing. Dates, places, numbers. She added today's entry, Kale 9, 14. She closed the book, put it away. Korath lay on his own bunk across the room. Virith did not sleep like humans. They rested in light cycles. But tonight he did not rest. He thought about the numbers. 187. 29. 4 years. He thought about the way Lauren moved in the tunnel. No waste, no fear, just purpose. He thought about what she said. Routine keeps us alive. For the first time, Korath wondered if his people had missed something important, something that could not be found in simulations. Outside, the wind howled louder. The ice cracked in the distance. Something big moved under the ground again. Lauren heard it. She sat up quietly. She listened. Then she lay back down. Way she would be ready. The shelter way, she would be ready. The shelter stayed warm. The team slept or rested. And in the quiet, the small human Marine closed her eyes at last. She slept without dreams. He asked the human Marine her kill count. She tilted her head. This year or just this planet? The next morning started quiet. The shelter lights came on slow. Hot coffee smelled in the air. Everyone ate breakfast fast. No one talked about the fight in the tunnel much. They all knew more trouble waited. Daniel Hayes stood at the main console. He pulled up new scan data from the ship above. The screen showed red lines under the ice, deep, moving. "Listen up," Daniel said. Everyone stopped eating and looked. "The attack yesterday was not random," he continued. "The creatures came from tunnels linked to an old structure, an orbital platform. But it's buried now, but it's waking up." Korath stepped closer to the screen. His scales turned a soft gray. "Ancient tech," Korath said. "From the Zorath Empire, extinct for thousands of years. They used bioweapons, living machines. The platform controls the beasts. It sees us as intruders. It will keep sending them until we are gone." Daniel pointed to a glowing spot on the map. "The control node is here, under 2 kilometers of ice. If we destroy it, the platform shuts down. No more attacks." "How long until the fleet arrives?" one Marine asked. 40 hours at best speed," Daniel answered. "We cannot wait. Waves will come faster each time." Korath looked at the map. "My drones can go in quiet. Stealth mode. Plant charges from a distance." Daniel shook his head. "Too slow. The node is shielded. Drones will get picked off before they reach it. We need someone inside. Boots on the ground. Breach the core chamber. Set the charges by hand." The room stayed quiet. And then she stood up. "I'll take point." Then she stood up. "I'll take point," she said. Her voice was calm, normal. Daniel looked at her. "You sure?" Lauren nodded once. "I've seen worse odds, And I don't leave jobs half done. Korath turned to her. His large eyes studied her face. You understand the odds? He asked. The platform has defenses, turrets, traps, more creatures. The corridor is narrow, no cover. Lauren met his gaze. I understand. Korath's frills moved. Why you? Others can go. Because I'm good at this, Lauren said simply. And because if I don't, more people die. Daniel rubbed his chin. Then he nodded. All right. Lauren leads the strike team. Mixed group, humans and Vireth. We go in light, fast, in and out. The team prepared through the day. They packed charges, extra ammo, med kits. Lauren checked her gear twice. Rifle, sidearm, knife, grenades. She tested the sights, loaded magazines, everything clean. Korath helped pack the Vireth gear, small stealth packs, light armor. He watched Lauren the whole time. In the afternoon, they gathered outside the shelter. Snow fell light. The sky looked heavy. Lauren stood in front of the group. 10 people total, 5 humans, 5 Vireth. We move quiet until the access point, she said. Once inside, we follow the map. No hero stuff. Stick together, cover each other. If someone falls, we grab them. No one left behind. The Vireth nodded slowly. They were not used to those words. No one left behind. They started the march. Lauren in front, rifle up. The ice cracked under their boots. Wind pushed cold air into their faces. They reached the access shaft after 2 hours, a wide hole in the ice. Black inside. They tied ropes and dropped down one by one. At the bottom they found a metal door, old, covered in frost. Korath used a tool to open it. The door hissed and slid aside. A long corridor stretched ahead. Dim red lights blinked along the walls. Air smelled old and metallic. They moved in, Lauren first, then the others, steps soft, rifles ready. The first trap came fast. A floor panel dropped. 2 Vireth almost fell. Lauren grabbed one by the arm, pulled him back. The hole closed again. Watch your feet, she said low. They kept going. The corridor narrowed. Lights flickered. Then the turrets started. The small guns popped from the walls. Plasma shots burned the air. Lauren dropped flat. Down! She rolled to the side, fired. One turret exploded in sparks. Another turned toward her. She threw a grenade. It bounced once. Boom! Both turrets gone. The team moved past the smoke. More turrets came. Lauren stayed ahead. She shot, threw charges, moved like she knew every step before it happened. A Vireth soldier got hit. Plasma burned his arm. He cried out. Lauren pulled him behind cover. She pressed a med patch on the wound. Stay with me, she said. The soldier nodded, pain in his eyes. They reached a big chamber. The core node sat in the center, a tall crystal tower. Blue light pulsed inside. Around it, creatures waited. Dozens. Armor plates, acid mouths. They growled low. Lauren looked back at the team. This is it. Korath stepped up beside her. We can still use drones. No time, Lauren said. They're coming. The creatures charged. Lauren opened fire. For short bursts. Precise. One creature fell, then another. The team fought behind her. Rifles cracked. Vireth used stun pulses, but the creatures kept coming. Lauren pushed forward. She moved between shots. Grenade, shot, grenade, shot. A big one jumped at her. She slid under it. Knife out. Cut the soft spot under its jaw. It fell heavy. She reached the tower. Set the first charge. Timer started. More creatures poured in. Lauren turned. Fall back! I'll cover! The team started to retreat. Korath stayed. I will help. Lauren shook her head. Go. That's an order. Korath hesitated. Then he ran with the others. Lauren stood alone, rifle hot in her hands. She fired until the magazine ran dry, switched to sidearm. Pop, pop, pop. Creatures closed in. She threw her last grenade. It cleared a path. She sprinted back. Shots chased her. Plasma scorched the wall beside her head. She reached the corridor, turned, fired one last burst. The charges went off behind her. Blue light flashed bright. The tower cracked, exploded. The creatures stopped. They shook, fell still. The platform lost power. Silence came. Lauren walked back slow, breathing hard. Armor scratched, blood on her sleeve, not all hers. The team waited at the access shaft. Korath ran to her. "You are hurt." "Just scratches," Lauren said. Daniel helped her up the rope. They climbed out into the snow. The wind felt colder now. Above, the sky cleared a little. No more growls under the ice. Lauren sat on the snow. She checked her rifle. Still worked. Korath stood near her. "You did it," he said quiet. Lauren looked up. "We did it." She leaned back, closed her eyes for a second. The job was done, but she knew more waited somewhere. Always did. He asked the human marine her kill count. She tilted her head. "This year or just this planet?" The ice caves stretched deep under Kale 9. The strike team moved fast through narrow tunnels. His dim emergency lights glowed red along the walls. Water dripped from the ceiling. Cold air bit at their faces. Lauren Brooks led the way. Her rifle stayed up. Every step careful. Every sound checked. Behind her came the mixed team. 5 humans. 4 Vereth now. One had stayed at the entrance to guard the ropes. Korath walked close to Lauren. His scanner box hummed soft. It showed the path ahead. Twists, turns, dead ends that were really traps. They reached the first defense line. Now automated turrets. Small, round, hidden in the ice. They woke when the team got close. Red lights flashed. Plasma bolts burned through the dark. Lauren dropped low. "Cover!" She rolled behind a rock spike, fired twice. One turret sparked and died. Another turned toward her. She threw a small grenade. It stuck to the wall. Boom! Ice cracked. The turret fell silent. The team pushed forward. A Vereth soldier slipped on wet stone. Lauren grabbed his arm, pulled him up. "Keep moving!" They ran deeper. The tunnels grew tighter. Air smelled like metal and old machines. The platform knew they were coming. More turrets popped out. More plasma. Lauren moved like she had been here before. She shot, dodged, threw charges, cleared the way. A collapsing section came next. The ceiling shook. Rocks fell. One big stone blocked the path. Lauren set a shaped charge. "Back!" They pulled away. The blast opened a hole. Dust filled the air. They crawled through. And inside the next chamber, reprogrammed predators waited, 10 of them. Bigger than the ones before, thicker armor, longer claws, eyes glowed green. They hissed. Acid dripped. Lauren did not wait. She opened fire, short bursts. One creature dropped. She moved left, fired again. Another fell. The team joined in. Rifles cracked. Stun pulses flashed, but the beasts kept coming. A predator lunged at a human marine. Lauren stepped in front. She took the hit on her shoulder plate. The claw scraped deep. Pain shot through her arm. She ignored it, turned, fired into the creature's mouth. It collapsed. "Push!" she called. They fought room by room. Vereth soldiers started to slow. Their armor cracked under acid. One fell back, breathing hard. Lauren covered him, dragged him to safety, patched the worst spot with quick tape. Korath stayed near her. He used his scanner to mark weak points on the creatures. "Joints," he said. "Aim for joints." Lauren nodded, adjusted aim. "I'm the last stretch. I go alone. You cover the last stretch. I go alone. You cover from here." Korath shook his head. "Too dangerous." "No choice," Lauren said. "If we all go, we all die. One person can slip through." Daniel stepped up. "Lauren, I got this," she cut in. "Trust me." The team set up firing positions. Lauren took a deep breath. And then she ran. She sprinted into the hall. Plasma burned the air around her. She zigzagged, dropped, rolled, came up shooting. One turret exploded. She threw a smoke grenade. Gray clouds filled the space. She moved through it like a shadow. A cannon tracked her. She slid under its barrel, planted a charge on its base, kept running. The explosion shook the walls. Sparks flew. She reached the core chamber door. It was sealed. Thick metal. She pulled a breaching tool from her pack, set it. It stood over the control node. A glowing red star. It stood over the control node. A glowing crystal heart in the center of the room. The construct spoke, voice deep and cold. Life count required for termination protocol. Lauren ejected her empty magazine, slammed in a fresh one. She looked up at it. Add it to the tab, she said. The fight started fast. And the construct swung. Lauren ducked, fired. Bullets hit armor, sparked, did little. It charged. She rolled away, came up behind, shot at the joints. One arm slowed. It turned. Blade came down. Lauren blocked with her rifle. Metal screamed. The rifle bent. She dropped it, pulled her sidearm, fired point blank. The construct staggered. She moved close, too close. It grabbed her, lifted her off the ground. Pain shot through her ribs. She pulled her knife, drove it into the neck joint. I fluid sprayed. The grip loosened. She fell, rolled, grabbed a grenade from her belt, threw it into the open chest plate. Boom! The construct shook. Sparks flew from its core. Lauren stood, breathing hard. She walked to the crystal heart, set the final charge. Timer started, 30 seconds. She turned to leave. The construct reached one last time. Blade caught her leg, cut deep. She fell, dragged herself up, limped toward the door. The charge went off. Blue light flashed bright, and the crystal shattered. The construct froze, fell forward, crashed to the floor. Silence. Lauren keyed her comm. Voice rough. Node destroyed. Platform going dark. She limped out. Korath and the team met her in the hall. They ran to her. Korath caught her arm, helped her stand. You are hurt, he said. Walked out, Lauren answered. That's what counts. They moved back through the tunnels. Slow now, helping the wounded. No more turrets, no more beasts. The platform slept again. And they climbed the ropes, came out into the snow. Night had fallen, stars sharp above. Lauren sat on the ice. Blood soaked her pant leg. She pressed a bandage hard, breathed slow. Korath knelt beside her. Your total, he asked quietly. Now? Lauren looked at the dark caves, then at him. This planet? She said. 43. She paused. Did the math in her head. This year? Another pause. 212. Korath nodded slow. His scales glowed soft in the starlight. Humanity does not count kills for glory, he said. You count them to remember why you stop. Lauren wiped blood from her face. Something like that. She looked up at the sky. The coalition fleet would arrive soon. Lights already showed far above. She stood, slow, painful, but steady. Daniel came over. You good? Lauren nodded. Good enough. She slung her broken rifle over her shoulder, started walking toward the shelter, limping, but moving. Korath watched her go. But enough. The galaxy was big, full of, but enough. The galaxy was big, full of quiet species, full of careful ones. But when the dark came, when the old machines woke, when the beasts rose from the ice, humans did not hide. They stepped forward. And sometimes one small marine carried the weight for everyone. Behind her, the team followed. Quiet, tired, alive. The wind blew cold across Kyle 9. But the planet felt smaller now, less empty. Lauren reached the shelter door, opened it. Warm light spilled out. She stepped inside. The door closed behind her. The fight was over, for now.